radio show may be over, but Gun Talk continues now in a more informal setting. Get ready for an on-topic, off-topic free-for-all featuring our show producer Jim Kinsey, Michelle, and Michael as they join Tom for the Gun Talk After Show. Enjoy.
All right, we're in the after show portion of Gun Talk. Got Jim's here, Michael's here, Michelle bailed on us. You must have known that... you know what? At a certain point, she's just going to get tired of us, guys.
She's a good judge of character. She'd come around at some point, we knew.
That's right. She said, I'm done with you guys. Oh, well. But then again, she's going to go to the gun store and come back and say, okay, I can put up with you guys again. So there you go. It's more the same. It's just what we do. It is the funniest thing. We were just finished a full week of shooting video in the studio for the Guns and Gear TV show. And what we'll do is we'll cycle in. We'll have like Smith & Wesson in the morning and Springfield Armory in the afternoon, or a scope company in the morning. And so we've got all these people. So one night, it just happened that we stacked up. We had 5 gun companies with us out to dinner. So we're sitting there, 8 of us at this table representing Gun Talk, and then 5 gun companies. And it was the greatest conversation. These are people who compete with each other. And ultimately, it was fun because, you know what? They were all just gun guys, just like us, just shooting the breeze. We're talking silencers and different guns and loads and stuff. It was basically like listening to the after show, just over a good meal.
Cool. Makes time pass, too.
As opposed to this slop we're eating today.
That's right. That's right. This is a BYO deal, buddy. I'm telling you. We're on a budget here.
There we go.
Oh. Well, one of the things we were doing with Rob Latham is they've got some new guns out, and we were looking at their Mod 2 grip zone. I mentioned their M1A adjustable, but they've got the Marine Corps Operator. It's a 1911, and I don't know what it is, man, but I'll tell you, every time somebody brings out a cool 1911, I am just all over it.
Oh, that design will never last.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so old and outdated, right?
Right.
I feel weird because I might be the only pseudo gun guy that doesn't own a 1911. It's kind of not right.
Well, I would think. Now, have you shot Jim's 1911?
Oh, I've shot tons of them. My dad's got a 1913 Colt, which is just a beaut. And I've shot a number of different. And I think I have shot your 1911, Jim, a couple of times. Yeah. So, yeah, I've got experience with them. I like them a lot. Just don't own one.
And nothing wrong with that. You don't have to. It's just a cool design. And one of the things they're doing is they're putting the slim grips on a couple of their models. And, man, that really makes it nice. I think it improves the feel of a 1911. And you wouldn't think it's much. Well, it's not much. But you can really tell the difference when you pick it up.
Probably a big difference inside the waistband, too.
It's a little bit, and
yeah,
it
but
helps.
You take your hand off the gun before you put it inside your. It doesn't stay inside your waistband with your
Not
hand.
Not usually. No.
Mr. Literal.
Hey, I just got a text from Ted Nugent. Great radio today, Tom. Salute, Ted.
That's awesome.
So, like he's got nothing else to do. I guess he's probably running around the ranch. He's got the radio on.
Yeah, he's a fan. It's cool.
So there you go. That's fun stuff. All right, we've got some people who have called in. I tell you what, because it's the after show, we're going to do things we don't normally do. Normally we do all sorts of checking who's called in and everything else. We're just going to go in there and find out. Hey, guys, just punch somebody up and let's see who we have. All righty, who is on the line with me now?
Well, I guess it's Jim.
Hi, Jim.
I hope I'm the one.
you must be the guy.
On your show today, I was out doing some other things and didn't have a piece of paper and pencil. Your trusts for suppressors. You gave a website, I believe?
Yes, it's actually pretty simple. It's guntrustlawyer.com.
Okay.
And
that's what I thought, but I didn't have pencil and paper to write it down.
Right, and David Golden, he connects with a lawyer in your state, but he has all the forms done up. And I'll tell you the other thing he does for you that I like a lot is you get a full package of information of this is how you fill it out, this is what you do with it, this is what the requirements are in the law, here's what you need to do, keep the stamp with you, and you kind of work your way through the whole thing. And it's basically like having a knowledgeable person hold your hand throughout the process. And we used him to set up our trust. Now, what state are you in?
Nebraska.
Okay, and so you can own suppressors there?
Oh, yeah, I have one.
Oh, you have one, okay. But you don't have it in a trust now?
Correct.
Okay, I don't know. That would be a question for David. If you already have stuff that's not in a trust, he will help you get it into the trust, because you have to somehow, I'm sure, change the registration with the feds on that. But he'll be able to help you out with that process also. But the part that really I found to be very attractive about the trust was the whole succession deal, so that when I pass on or somebody judges me to be incompetent, wait, somebody have already done that. That may already have happened. I don't know. But you know what I mean? And they say, okay, the guns have to go. In this case, I don't actually own those suppressors. The trust owns the suppressors, and they just stay in the trust, and I'm out of the trust because I'm gone, but the other people in the trust continue. So that's a pretty slick way to go.
Mm-hmm. Another question. As I was holding on the phone for the after show, with the after show, somebody mentioned that there was, Springfield Armory had a Marine operator pistol?
Yes.
Is that
in fact, I'm looking at it right now.
Is that the same as the TRP operator?
I don't think it's called the 1911 Loaded. And here's the thing. It's funny you mentioned that, because I was asking Rob Latham, I said, now, what's the difference between this one and the other? And he says, I swear I'm not even sure I know now. Because they have so many 1911s, you kind of have to go on the website. And a lot of times it's just one little thing, like a different set of sights or a different thing. And it could be the Loaded, it could be the operator, it could be the TRP. And honestly, I do not remember what each of them is and which features they all have. So I would say go on their website and, may even want to download and print out the spec sheets and hold them side by side so you can tell which is which and what they do.
Okay. Well, I own the TRP operator, and I was just
wondering. How nice is that?
Very nice. I like the pistol, but I'm not a 1911. I prefer SIGs. I like HKs better. But,
interesting. Okay.
I mean, I just prefer them. They just fit me better, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, I'll help you out here. I could go as high as $200 for that TRP.
Well, see, I've already been offered 13.
So you're only out 11.
Look, 200 is more than 13. Come on, guys. 200 is more than 13. Can't you do the math?
But you can't have the notoriety of saying that I got ripped off by Tom Gresham.
That's true. That's true.
I guess that would be a claim to fame.
Okay, I got you guys will like this. I got to tell you a quick story. All right, along these lines. We were friends with Sam Snead, the famous golfer, and of course he was like a lot of these old golfers. He was a real bettor, and he said, I lost a few matches. He said, but I didn't lose much money. I said, what do you mean? He said, I always wrote him a check. And then they would frame it. They would never cash the check because they beat Sam Snead.
There you go. That's your proof.
There you go. So, no, that TRP is a wonderful 1911. But I understand. I mean, if you like HKs, those are great guns.
The only thing I don't like about them is the rifling in the barrels. The polygonal rifling.
Right.
Because I shoot a lot of cast.
Oh, yes, that's right. So now, have you considered changing the barrel out to a traditionally rifle barrel?
I have on two of them. I haven't on the third. I have the USP, their target pistol, the Elite, not the Elite. What do they call it? Anyway, I haven't done that one yet. But on the 2.9s, I have. I've changed those out.
Nice pistols. Well, look, that's the deal. Check on the Springfield website on this new one, the Marine, and see how that. Yeah, it's called the Marine Corps Operator 45, and good looking gun. So see if that does something for you there. And Jim, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Hey guys, let's take a quick break here, and then we've got some other callers to get to. Is that okay?
We're good.
EWL by Slip 2000 is the absolute best gun lube available, period. It will never gum up or become sticky. It won't attract dust, dirt, or sand, and doesn't freeze in cold weather. It penetrates and bonds with a metal-reducing friction and wear, which means less cleaning and easier cleaning. Why not try it? Visit our participating dealer for a free sample or go to slip2000.com. That's slip2000.com.
right, now we are back, and we still have some folks on hold. And once again, we would never do this on the air, guys. But because it's the after show, we take risks.
It's sacrilegious to Michelle, really.
It is. Michelle is our lovely call screener. She's not here, so we are going completely off the rails, which she would expect nothing less of us, right?
Sure.
Right.
We have a reputation to maintain as well.
That's right. We have low standards, and we can live up to them. So there you go. With that in mind, just punch in a line and tell me when we're there. Whoever is hearing me now, how are you?
This is Frank.
Hi, Frank. Where do you live?
San Antonio, Texas. I'm calling. I have a friend that he seems like he never cleans his guns, and he says until he has a little problem with it. And I'm the type of guy that always, when I'm done shooting at the rifle range, I clean them, my rifles and my handguns. So what is your theory on cleaning now or cleaning later?
I would rather not clean them ever, but that doesn't work out well. So
No, I agree with you, but...
No, you're doing it the right way. There's a reason for that. Is burned powder, and actually you end up with some unburned powder in your barrels also when it goes off. That substance is hygroscopic. That is, it attracts moisture. And so the moisture in the air will hold on to those little bits of gunpowder in the barrel. And after a while, you know how people say, I've got pitting in my barrel? Well, that's because those little bitty sponges, which is what they function as, itty bitty sponges, are holding moisture, and they're eating into the metal inside of your barrel. So you need to clean your gun after you fire it each time with a good solvent, and then probably make one little pass with a light coating of a rust preventative oil just to protect it. Now, not so much where you are in San Antonio, but down here in the steamy Louisiana jungles, where we have a lot of humidity, it's a big deal, and you really got to protect your guns.
To consider quick cleaning, like maybe running through the barrel and the outside, and maybe skip a full cleaning, or?
Sure. As long as you can run something through the barrel and take care of that, and of course, it depends on the gun. A lot of guns are so easy to take apart. I don't take them apart a lot. I just do a field stripping on my pistols and just pull the barrel out, clean it. I use a little solvent and an old toothbrush. By the way, when you're doing this, just a note to everybody, wear your shooting glasses or some kind of eye protection, because if you're using a toothbrush, sure enough, you're going to end up with some solvent in your eye, and it stings, I'm told. Yeah, right. I've done it more than once. It really stings, so wear your shooting glasses or some kind of protection. But that's what I would do. Here's one other thought. You've got a buddy who doesn't like to clean his guns until they start malfunctioning. This is an opportunity for you. You understand this. Wait till they start malfunctioning. Tell him that his gun is broken. Offer him a really cheap price and buy them, then take them home, clean them, and you got great guns.
Nice.
I mean, if you can't take advantage of your friends, what good are they anyway?
Sure.
Oh, correct. What are friends for?
That's exactly right. I appreciate the call, sir. You take care. All right, there you go, guys. We're talking gun cleaning again. We do seem to come back to that.
I had a gun cleaning party this morning.
Well, this is our little Slip 2000 follow-up.
Oh, well, yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, this morning I woke up at 6 a.m. because I couldn't sleep anymore, and I don't know why. And I said, well, what better to pass the time with a nice cup of coffee than tearing apart all my guns? And so I did.
No.
Yep. I tore them all. I didn't take the shotgun down. I wanted to function test that today at Jim's, which I did, and it works. Now I'm going to take it apart and clean it tonight. So, yeah.
You do understand what a gun geek that makes you. I mean, waking up, we're having coffee and gun solvent.
Well, I've been putting it off. That guy we just spoke with, he reminded me. But I had been putting it off. In fact, a couple of guns, I waited like 3 weeks. And oh, man, I really need to get them. It's been every day chewing at me to clean them. So
Isn't that interesting? It just weighs in the back of your mind. I got to get to this. I got to do this.
Yep.
So, that's why you woke up and couldn't get back to sleep. It's just your brain saying, all right, get your rear end out of bed and get to moving here.
Yeah.
Tell about the
I wanted to tell you, Tom, the first time I got the opportunity to use that Slip 2000, and I used the solvent, the cleaner degreaser that comes in the big spray bottle. And first off, I was really hit by the fact, obviously it's non-toxic and non-irritant to the skin. So that was a nice change of pace anyway for me. But two, I had taken this SKS of mine apart 100 times, cleaned all the cosmoline I could find out with all the different methods that I'd learned in the past. I put this degreaser in there, let it sit for 15 minutes, came back, and the water looked like rust water. I'm like, what is this? It was cosmoline. All of it.
No.
It pulled
how long
all
have you
the
had that
old...
rifle?
I've had it for years, and I thought it was clean.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and I put hundreds of rounds through this thing in the meantime, and it shined up so nice. In fact, it shined up so well that I had to really use that synthetic the lubricant. I forget what they call it, the Extreme Weapons Lube 30.
EWL.
Yeah, the EWL 30. It soaked it up. I probably put 4 applications on the rifle, and it just soaked it up each time until it wouldn't soak it up anymore.
Of course, now what's going to happen, it's going to be a lot easier to clean each time.
But I cannot rave about this stuff. My room didn't stink that I was cleaning it in.
You could eat lunch right after that.
Yeah, and I told Jim, I started eating lunch right afterwards and then realized halfway through, oh my gosh, I forgot to wash my hands because I didn't smell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and of course, if you've ever used those other kinds of degreasers, they're basically like brake cleaner,
right.
And it's nasty and it eats up your hands, and your hands are cracking after you get that stuff on it. So
I was amazed what it did with Cosmoline. I didn't even know I had any left on there.
Well, that is a heck of a report. That's amazing. Yeah, the Slip 2000 guys were here last week, and they make good product. They really do. I mean, in terms of gun cleaning and lubricant and all, it's pretty hard to do any better than that.
Yeah, one day that SKS will be as cool as mine, Michael. We have another call here, Tom.
Okay, sure. Another mystery caller?
I think so. Well, here we go.
Why not? Punch him or her in. I don't know where we are here.
Here we go.
Hello, mystery caller. You're on Gun Talk.
Hi.
Can you tell that the after show is a little bit looser here?
Wow, I'll say this. I'm sitting here on my lawnmower, and I thought, let me see if the show's over. I need to call him and ask as long as we're taking requests, and I haven't heard the show today, so I may not be the only one that thought it. I'll listen to the podcast.
Sweet. Oh, my gosh.
Straight onto the air or onto the podcast. Well, first and foremost, Tom, great show. I love it. I've been listening to the podcast since about 2009, and I think I've gone back to about 2006 or so.
All right.
I've got a lot of time to listen. I'm a truck driver, so there were a lot of nights over in North Alabama that I listened to Tom talking about guns.
Well, good.
Wanted to give a quick range report on the Ruger American 22 rimfire. Love it, love it. Not as accurate as I'd hoped, but I think some of that might be on me. And I'm not able to try as many brands of ammo as I'd like.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, it's in the dime to nickel size at 25 yards, so you can't complain too much. But I'm hoping to get better than that. That's what I wanted to ask about. Has anybody hit you up or hit Ruger up about a Ruger American in 44 Magnum, since they're not going to make our semi-automatic 44s? They've already got these. Didn't some of the semi-automatics have magazines, rotary magazines?
Yes, and I kind of like it. Although, as much as I like the Ruger American, it's a great platform, I would much rather have the semi-auto come back. And here's the thing, Jim and I have talked about this forever. How long? It's have to have been out of the line for 25 years.
Yeah, was it 64 they started it? Something like that?
Yeah, and I'll bet it ended
late
in the
70s
or
early 80s, yeah.
So, and we still talk about it. I got to think that there's some real big reason or good reason they didn't bring it back. With everybody asking for it, you'd think if it was possible, they probably would have. So I don't know what it is. And look, I know the guys there. They will not address it with me at all. All they say is, yeah, we get that request a lot, and going, okay.
It's a conspiracy, Tom.
You get it every time. You see me, you're going to get it every time, that's for sure.
They probably sold all their equipment.
But even with that, you think with these modern CNC machines, they could just crank up or reprogram them and get them done.
It's such a
easy
cool
for me
gun
to say, right? I don't have to do it.
I tell you, though, that Ruger American, I never thought I'd meet a rifle. And I've only got this 122 long rifle. And I got it mainly because, hey, I've already got all these 1022 mags. And I want a bolt action anyway, so I'll get this one because it seems okay. Love it. I have no complaint.
Now, what scope did you put on it?
It is, what is it? I think I've got a Simmons 22 mag. It's a fixed 4-power. I've also got a 3 to 9 power in the same, general variety. I really kind of would like to spend a little more money on a scope on it, but it's going to have to come later. I've got a nice little Leopold that's on another rifle. I hate to take it off it to put it on this one, but you have to kind of bits and pieces with the wife. I gotta tell you, just announced this week, Ruger just introduced
the Ruger, the Mini 14 tactical rifle in 300 AAC blackout.
Yep.
Oh, I've got a buddy who's a big Mini 14 fan. He's going to love that.
I think the Mini 14 is one of the coolest rifles that doesn't get near the respect it deserves. I mean, whether it's a 223 or in this case, I would take a Ruger Mini 14 and 300 blackout, stick a suppressor on it, and just be as happy as I could be with that rig.
Heck yeah.
Be a great hog or deer hunting rifle.
Yes, indeed. We had Jessica Brooks Stevens in the studio this week talking about, you mentioned shooting hogs, and a lot of people have said that they've not had good success with the 300 blackout with hogs because it's pretty much because of bullet selection. And she said, yeah, you haven't tried ours. 110 and 120 grain bullets. They're not subsonic, because you get into the subsonic, you're going really slow, and you're using heavy bullets, and generally they don't expand, so you're kind of punching holes. She told me she has killed deer with the 300 blackout out to 290 yards.
Wow.
90.
Yeah. That's amazing for that cartridge.
Oh, yeah. Well, that, again, let me just tell you, thanks for the show. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted that 44. Well, the 44 semi-automatic, of course. And if you can't get that, and you can't quite really justify they have a 77 bolt action 44, I think, don't they? Or is it just 357?
I'm looking right now. It's a 350. Wait, no, they do. It's a Ruger 77 44. They sure do. You're right.
Yeah, I like that one. But again, boy, that American rifle, that probably half to 2/3. What does a 77 run? It's
77's $1,000. It's $1,000. You're right. It's like and for an American, you're looking at what, 350?
350-ish probably for a center fire.
And it's a good rifle.
Right at 3.
It's a really good rifle.
Great rifle. Great trigger. I can't describe some of the things. Let's just say it's user adjustable.
Okay, fair enough. I got that. All right, but no, it's a good thought. I'll pass it along to them if they could do the American in a 44. Now, I don't know if they could do a rotary magazine in that, but no matter what, if we could do that in a 44, you know what would be cool would be a scout rifle configuration on an American in a 44.
That would be a great rifle right there. Give me a good use for one of my red dots that I'm not using.
GT21.
There you go.
Put a red dot on that.
Tell them they got a guaranteed sale if they'll release it. They'll sell at least one. And probably
we'll pass it along.
Who want those semi-automatics would be, okay, well, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask him again. I'm going to take up the subject again just to see if I could get any kind of answer on that. And, of course, the problem is, and you guys know, and look, I appreciate the call, that Ruger won't tell me what they're going to do because they're a publicly traded company, and they're not allowed to do that. And every once in a while, they say, okay, we're going to have to tell you about something that's coming up. And then they send us one of those NDA forms, non-disclosure agreements. So even if we know, we can't talk about it. So it doesn't do me any good. I can't talk about it until they're announced.
You can hear the guys at Ruger right now.
Oh, we got that Tom Gresham guy in line 3.
I'm sorry. We lost the call again.
His weekly 44 mag call.
That's right. I just put it on an automatic robocall.
Yeah. So if you're Tom Gresham, please press 4. Beep.
That's right. If you're calling in to ask about the 44 semi-auto, please press 72.
Yes. You know that 44 carbine? I've owned one twice. Not two separate guns. I've owned the same gun twice.
You ever tell you that story? And you got it back?
Yeah, I actually paid back in the day when it was either live on the streets or keep my 44 rifle. I sold my 44 rifle to a guy, and 20 years later he called me back. He says, "You remember we were roommates and you owed me rent and you gave me that gun?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I figured I'd give you your first shot at buying it back." I'm going, "Yeah, baby." At what I paid, at what the rent was. So for $200 I sold the gun in essence, and $20 later I bought it back for $200.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, cool little 40. And it's a cool gun. It's just such a cool gun.
I'll give you $225 for it right now.
Oh, done.
There you go.
I never liked it.
Everybody else. That's right. Yeah, right. No, for those who don't know, you can look it up. It's a little bitty short.
It's like a brush gun, kind of.
They call it the Deer Slayer?
They came out the second version of it. They called that the Deer Slayer. It was basically the same gun. some cosmetic
so
changes.
Short semi-auto, 44 mag, and a rotary magazine. What is it? 4 rounds
I didn't
mag?
have a rotary mag. It's
Oh, it didn't?
No, mine isn't. They may have made it one like that. Mine was it's 5-shot. One and then you stuff 4 in the tube.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking that was rotary for some reason. I guess I was thinking it looked somewhat like the 1022, and that's a rotary magazine.
Well, you're just going to have to come here and shoot it now, Tom.
Just send it down here. Just stick it in an envelope and send it down here, would you please? Put a label on it. And take it to the post office.
Literally, Tom, there's an airport directly next to the range we shoot at, too, and we're not here at Jim's. So you would literally get out of your plane, walk next door, and you could start shooting.
Yep. Is that the Toledo downtown airport?
No, Lake Township, actually. Off near 795 area. It's not too far from downtown.
Okay, so I can fly in there, get out, and walk over and just start shooting.
Yeah, we've got a 180-degree, 20-plus foot berm, nice targets. It's a slick little setup.
As a matter of fact,
can I hit it from the airplane? Can I just open the door of the airplane?
Yeah, but
just parachute out.
We got a weird FAA regulation. You have to do a touch and go while you're shooting.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just fly over.
So it'd be instead of a drive-by, it'd be a flyby.
Flyby.
It's actually kind of neat, too, when you're out there on the range. You've got 20, 30 planes taking off and landing if you're out there for a good afternoon. It's kind of cool to see that.
Well, as you travel and look at all these different shooting ranges around the country, a lot of times they're right next to an airport. I think they must figure, okay, it's already noisy.
Right.
Why not? Just put them together.
Well, our great mayor a few years ago said we should put all the deaf people out living near the airport because they're building new homes. Yes.
You're making this up.
No, he seriously did. He got in a lot of slack for it.
Yeah, well, the problem was they were doing some new building, and the folks says, we're building these new houses right by the airport. Boy, it sure is loud. And, the airport's been there forever, and they should have figured that out when they were building and maybe not have built there. So to solve the problem, our great Carlton S. Finkbeiner was the mayor at the time, suggested that we just
you're making that name
up. No, I'm not. No, it's very Googleable. So he suggested we round up the deaf people in the Toledo area and just put them in those housing projects.
Oh, my God.
He surely did.
This guy he's a laugh. I'll find a link and send it to you. Yeah, it's so bizarre. It's got to be true, and it is.
Exactly. I mean, no, even you are not twisted enough to make that.
But it's still early.
Oh my God!
Hey, I got a line flash. You want to see if somebody's actually there?
Oh, sure. What could go wrong?
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. I finally figured out how to run this telephone and get through into your After GUNTALK. Now I'm on the air. God almighty.
See, you never know what's going to happen.
Here,
Oh my God!
as long as you got, my name's Jim, by the way, and I'm from Sioux City.
Hey, Jim.
How you doing?
Well, good, I guess. Must be. I better run out and buy a lottery ticket.
You should.
Anyhow, I'm down here mulling over an SP-101, $500 for a used one. I don't have any idea where the market is. What does that sound like to you guys?
Sounds a little bit high, but not too terrible.
Well, I'm sure liking the gun. I'm a J-frame guy, and I sure like the trigger on it. I'm not used to the cylinder release on a Ruger, but I guess I can learn.
Now, does that push in instead of slide forward?
Yes.
Yeah, I carry an LCR most days. You'll really like it once you get used to it. I think it's a lot easier to pop that cylinder open.
Well, I don't know. I've been doing Smiths for 40 years. It's hard to retrain an old dog here. But anyway,
it's interesting. You'll pick it up very quickly. Now, which barrel length are you looking at?
2 1/4 as opposed to 1 7/8, which I doubt if that'll make much difference. But I've got crimson traces on. I've got the eye problem, like all us old guys.
Right.
And a crimson trace has just helped me considerably. I mean, good God, I didn't shoot like that when I was 30. I really like that.
Jim, it's interesting you say that because I was very, very slow to come to the whole laser thing. And after you use them for a while, you're thinking, why didn't we do this sooner? This makes all the sense in the world. It just, and especially if you go into one of these classes where you're shooting and moving and got different awkward positions. I mean, forget everything else. Just put the laser on it and go. So you've got them on the Crimson Trace grips on other guns?
I've got 6 of them.
Wow.
So I have 3 of them on J-frames. I have one on a Springfield XDS, and and then I have one on a Glock 30 and a Glock 27. All right. And then I gotta put a big red dot on the front sight, so if I'm out in the sunlight, so I'm covered.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's kind of where I've gone. I like the fiber optic front sights now. I've really gotten to where I like those.
Well, I just stumbled into one. The one J-frame I bought happened to come that way, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is nice. I didn't know what I was missing, and then here I come, I find lasers. And life just keeps getting good, and now Tom Gresham's talking to me. Listen, while I have you guys here, if I may, I've been working on KSCJ in Sioux City to carry you guys, and I can't seem to get anybody's attention. Any guidance you can give me?
There's a secret to this.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's going to make all the sense in the world when I explain it to you. Radio stations do it for the money. And so the trick is, and this is not giving out any secrets or anything, and radio stations will not be offended when I tell you this, you need to have somebody, some business that calls and says, we would like to sponsor Gun Talk Radio. And it could be a gun store, it could be a car dealership, it could be a florist. It doesn't matter. But the moment that they hear, because what's going to happen is that call is going to bypass everybody else, go to the sales manager and the general manager. They're going to say, yes, we can make money on this show. Now, once they start running it, they'll make other money on it because they'll find out that, yes, people like to listen to it. And then if people like to listen to it, then they can sell advertising. But honestly, there are 2 ways to go. One is to get like everybody you know to ask the station to run the show. And sometimes that works. And the other is to get some friends of yours who own businesses to call and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about advertising, but I want to do it on this gun show. And here's the thing. Maybe you may not be aware of this. The stations get the show for free.
I had no idea how that works. At this point, they're running reruns of last week's Sean and Rush. And everybody's heard all that all week long. And
well, that's it. I mean, those guys are good, but we don't need it again.
But I thought maybe they had contractual obligations there that they had to honor.
They do, but there are ways around that. They can move those guys around. I mean, theirs is a recorded show. Ours is a live show, so they can move it. So I would say don't give up. Talk to them. But the key is one person calling probably doesn't have an effect. 10 people calling may have an effect. 50 people calling, like everybody from a gun store or everybody from a local gun club, now you're getting some effect. And then if one of those members also happens to own a business and says, I'm going to move some of my dollars from the newspaper that wants to ban guns, why am I advertising there, for heaven's sakes? And tell them I want to advertise on Gun Talk, there's a pretty good chance you'll get it on the air. And we'll help you. If that, shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com, and we've got a guy that does nothing but that, works with radio stations and helps them make money by running Gun Talk.
Okay, well, actually, I have been sort of pursuing that in a modest way. I have actually the gun store that I was talking about, the Ruger. He does advertise there. And I've been wanting to bend his, or I thought when I went down and bought that SP-101, I would do it with one stipulation, that he insists that they do this. How would that work? That might work.
I like the way you think. Give it a shot. See what happens. Tell him he can make money by doing this.
That seems to get everybody's attention.
Right.
It's certainly great talk. I've been listening with great difficulty. I used to do it on Sirius, and then I had trouble. My wife is a computer person, and she's been tuning up the computer, and I've been listening for a year or so. It's always great. It's great to talk to you guys.
Well, I am so glad you made it in. It's been a pleasure. We didn't know who was calling, but you know what? We thought we'd answer the phone and find out.
Well, I'm sitting here quietly listening. I had no idea I was going to get to talk to you.
Well, good deal. We appreciate the call. Listen, you enjoy that pistol, that revolver, and once you get it and shoot it a little bit, give us a call back and let us know how it worked out for you.
And one more thing, I was very impressed listening to Chuck Grassley. He's our senator, And I do communicate with him and our other legislators here, and I was quite pleased to see that old Chuck was on the radio here with you guys.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a good guy, U.S. Senator. Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for the call. We appreciate that. And enjoy that revolver.
Hey, Tom, the SB 101, you could get them new 5-6 years ago for under $500. So I'm not sure how great of a deal it is at a used deal at $5.
I've seen them go for $550, $575 around here. Yeah. Well, yeah, and then you're looking at, the finish on them and the grips.
MSRP right now on that is $679. So they've gone up.
Misrip.
Now, it looks to me like you can get them with that same 2.25-inch barrel in either 38 Special or 357 Magnum.
Guns.
Yeah, Magnum.
Hey, I had a question for you that's been bugging me for the past 30 seconds.
Well, that's nice. So would you send me an email with that?
I got on an AR, you got what, 18-inch barrel, 16-inch barrel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the law says anything under 16, you have to get SBR stamp. Why wouldn't you, just hypothetically, you cut the barrel down to 8 and put an 8-inch can on it, and now you're back to the original length, but you've got a silenced.
So you're basically saying your suppressor would make up the difference.
Yeah, so you're still at 16. I'm not saying you're skirting the law. You're going to have to pay double tax stamp for the SBR.
It could be done. You could actually do it if the suppressor is permanently attached. It can't be just screwed on.
So you can't put a suppressor on an SBR?
You can, but then it's 200 and 200.
Oh, I know. I'm saying if money's not the... Yeah.
No.
Because I'm thinking that would be perfect for blackout, especially with subsonic. You'd be awesome.
Everybody I know who has an SBR has a can for it. Well, I mean, that's perfect. What you do, and now you get into the whole debate when people say, well, what's the barrel like? 9 inches, 10 inches, 11 inches? And the shorter it gets, the harder it is to make the gun work reliably.
Okay.
So it becomes kind of an interesting... But somewhere in that 10-inch range, and then you stick a can on it, now you're back out to the original length of the rifle, and that's a pretty sweet package.
Now, does anybody make a silencer with a barrel? So in other words, you're replacing the barrel. You're buying a new 16-inch barrel that has a can. Now you're paying a $200 tax instead of $400. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about the AR. Now, you do have that on the Ruger 1022. You can get an integrally suppressed barrel.
Right.
You replace the barrel, it's $200, but it's not an SBR. That's a pretty nice package.
Okay. You got me going on these silencers. Great enabler. Thanks.
Now, here's the other thing. Now, here's how weird the laws are. Okay, so if you have an SBR, let me see. Wait, no. Not an SBR. If you have a pistol, an AR pistol, and it's got a rail out there on the bottom, you cannot put a vertical foregrip on it. By law, that is prohibited by federal law. Now it becomes some other kind of evil weapon of mass destruction because you put a handle on it.
Well, personally, I don't know if I'd want to handle that close to the muzzle anyway.
No, but it just makes no sense.
Right, I understand.
Silly.
What's the government's reasoning behind it? We're going to protect you because you're too stupid.
I'm sorry. You might want to think about what you just said.
Government/reasoning.
Oh, yeah. Oxymoron. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. Rewind that one.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with the 922 compliance on a lot of imported rifles and stuff, too. I mean, it doesn't make it any less or more dangerous if you replace, say, a magazine or, you can take out the cleaning rod on some of these rifles and it'll actually alter the compliance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's all idiotic.
It's ridiculous.
The truth of it is, no gun control laws make any sense. No gun control laws reduce crime. They are all designed to do nothing more than restrict us in some form or fashion. And unfortunately, a lot of them are written by people that wouldn't know a gun from a Chevrolet.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, on the bright side, at least they're not used to generate revenue.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's the other part of it. Is we say do away with the $200 tax, and they go, yeah, we're trying to find all the money we can. So that's an uphill climb. But you never know. Might be able to get it done. We'll keep working on it. In the meantime, you guys have guns to clean.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I got one at least.
There you go. Well, we're going out, if it's not pouring down rain tomorrow, we're going out to the range, shooting some more TV with some various fun guns. We got buckets full of SIGs and Smiths and Rugers and, STI. Got the coolest high cap 9mm 1911. They call it a 2011 from STI.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That thing is sweet. So we shoot that a little bit, and man, that's just got to be a really nice pistol. That was going to cost me money.
God, what a tough gig you have.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's strange. Guns don't actually go back when they're supposed to be sent back.
Yeah.
And then but the only problem with that is then they send an invoice, and so, but it's okay. We just buy it.
Technicalities. Okay, so treading water.
Yes,
GT20,
yes,
GT20,
yes.
GT20, GT20, treading water.
They tell me this coming week, they will be the first shipments out. I don't know when you got your order in, if it's like with the early batch or late
April
batch.
2nd. I put it in April 2nd. I put my order in.
Oh, I see. April dose. Okay,
yeah,
yes.
That just flew right past you. No, I made it in.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Nothing of any merit, no. Flew in under the wire. Got in on plenty of time. I'm just stoked.
Okay, you got it. So it's weird because, of course, this is a brand new gun. And so I'm talking to them. They're saying, well, we didn't get as many grips in as we had ordered, so we're waiting on the grips to come in. And then they said, and there was one little part that wasn't quite right, so we had to redo that. And going, okay, this is what happens when you got a brand new gun.
Yeah.
And... and they're saying, hey, you want it right? Yes, of course we want it right.
No, ship us with a bunch of defects.
Yeah, ship us something that doesn't work. Thanks a lot. No, and look, and SIG, they're going to make it right. And I want it to be right, and we all do, but it just drives me crazy.
It's not like golf balls where you get, these didn't turn out great. We'll just put X's on them and sell them as X outs.
I never thought of that.
It's not real reliable.
They don't have scratch and dents. No,
not generally. They really don't.
The Model 15, when your life is good enough to nearly protect.
That's right. It's. I know you wanted the Model 27, but how about we call it the 26?
26 and a half refurbished.
26.5.
27 version 7, yeah.
There you go.
Beta.
All righty. Well,
look,
I'm going to go see all these guys in the studio. We're going to do that this week. And, Jim, we were having fun doing the show in the studio, weren't we?
Yeah, that was kind of cool, dude. You should have been here, Michael. You should have been employed at the time.
Yeah, no.
we were having a whole lineup of all these people from these various companies lined up. And we're also doing video on it. So we'll put all that online. As soon as the radio show runs, we'll put the video of it up. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it was kind of neat having you interrupt your day to cut an hour radio. Usually we work, obviously straight 3-hour shifts, at least on the record side of it. And to be able to do it an hour each day during lunch was kind of neat and see it come together. And I think the coolest part is the tie and the cross promotion, I guess it would be called, between the YouTube videos being shot during a radio show. So when people are either hearing this, obviously, and look out for it, or when they download that show that week, they'll be able, can go to YouTube and check out the videos and see it shot.
Unless anybody is, I don't want anybody to think they can go look at it right now because it's not up.
No. When it's released,
some weeks we'll announce it when it's up.
Yeah, I just think it's cool to. But I'm a geek, I like behind the scenes stuff and people coming up with lions' heads and scaring Rob Latham and stuffed animals.
And we actually rolled through the commercial breaks. So we'll be able to people will actually be able to see what happens during the breaks.
That's funny.
Oh, the dirty little secrets. What do we do during the break? What do? We talk about guns. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's when it's no different. You guys know. All right. Well, I got to go pack for the next trip. We'll do this again next week, whether we want to or not.
I'll talk to you midweek.
All right.
Have a great week.
Well, there you go. Another Gun Talk After Show is in the can. We sure do appreciate you sticking around. And remember, everything Gun Talk is available 24/7 at guntalk.com. See you next week for the Gun Talk After Show.